Everybody, welcome back to Wiki Sports. This is at the buzzer, and I'm joined as always by Jack Tiernan. Jack, how you doing?
Brian, feeling pretty good, man. Pretty rested, like the All Stars, like the non All Stars, the whole group. Frankly, right? It was
Yeah,
a fun weekend, but we're back at it.
not all stars, and even the all stars who maybe didn't put the most effort into the game scored a lot of points. Very fun, but
Tons of points, historic amount of points.
what was 211 to like 184 or something crazy?
Yep, first
Yeah,
time anyone surpassed 200 in the All Star game, which is
love
yeah, a
that.
very very defensive focused competitive game we had there.
hmm Yeah, yeah, a lot of defense being played in the all
Clearly,
star game.
Luka
Um,
Doncic obviously known for his defense, also, right?
yes,
That's Trey
yep,
Young, him too. That group
yeah.
really defensive minded folks.
Right. So I guess like let's just talk about the whole weekend before we get into a preview for the Celtics. I mean, I like All-Star weekend, even though it's like definitely not as crazy as it felt like back in the day, back when we were younger. One being younger, you get more wrapped up in stuff, but like the dunk contest was the craziest thing ever. And then, they had the passing stuff and the game itself was really fun and, more competitive than the present day version of it. But I feel like one, the dunk contest is like, I mean, what can you do? Like there's already been like every dunk possible. So
Right.
like and then stars don't want to participate in it. But we got to defend our star, Jalen Brown. He did participate. People weren't nice to him on the internet. Do you want to talk about that, Jack?
Yeah, and I don't really understand why, if I'm being honest. Maybe this is aggressively biased, likely. But at
Yeah,
the
of
same time,
course. Yep,
for
that's
sure,
fine.
for sure. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, a lot of the Jalen Brown hate I thought was super unwarranted. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mac McClung, sick dunker. Why does he not have a spot on an NBA roster, even as like that 14th, 15th end of bench type of a guy who comes in like the Taco Fall that we had for a little bit? Just send him in at the
Right.
end and have him do a couple crazy shit, and then pull him out and put him back in his cage type of thing. That's what the NBA does to him during All Star Weekend. Frankly, they
Mhm.
treat him like that caged animal. I think Ryan talked about it. So Ryan, if
Yeah,
you're watching, man, homage to you. They pull him out, they have him do some crazy dunks, and then they're like, "All right, get back to
yeah,
Osceola. Like, have fun down there, pal." Um,
yeah.
at
Can I
least this
keep
time they
can
didn't
I at
make him
least
wear a
keep the
Sixers
jersey?
jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I
They didn't
know.
make him wear the actual Sixers jersey, and they were
Mhm.
like, "Okay, just wear your freaking G League team." Um,
Yeah, which
that was
yeah.
yeah, that's
I think
brutal. But
well, I think yeah, the G League thing itself is brutal, but it is more brutal to make him wear the Sixers jersey and then
oh,
be
totally.
like, "All right, you're never wearing that again. Get out of here."
They were like, "Hey, what number do you want?" It doesn't matter. Like, here you go. It's number 9, I guess. Like, that's brutal, man. But anyway, the game is Osceola Magic jersey. He went out. He did some cool dunks. I don't admittedly know. I didn't think Jalen's dunks were terrible, frankly. Um, I think, to be honest, he had the most like message behind all of his dunks. Right? You have the homage to the kid from Brewster Academy who passed away tragically a couple years ago. Jalen Brown was his mentor, so that was cool. Really good for that. The left-handed Michael Jackson dunk, and then for it had a multitude of reasons, which he explained afterwards, right? Which was the obviously he can't the Twitter trolls with his left hand, plus the I guess Michael Jackson is from that area or something like that. I don't remember what that was, but homage to the Prince of Pop, right? Um, and then it was the one that got probably the most backlash, which was the dunk over Kai Cenat, which um,
Yeah, and let's just Kai,
uh,
one of the greatest streamers like of all time,
yeah,
even in the short amount of time he's been a streamer. One of the people who like heavily promoted all the All-Star festivities because he was going to be
right.
involved. Like, of course he's going to be involved in this too. So like, I don't know what people want. You don't want to hurt him either.
No, and that was fun, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're not gonna stick like I
He
mean,
is a celebrity to Gen Z and Gen Alpha kids. Okay. Like I know
totally.
most people probably have no idea who he is, but he for real is like internet celebrity.
Which yeah, that's cool, right? Yeah, all of the old heads, frankly, I hate to say it, but like are out there like, oh, this like that was stupid, or like all of the kind of b-ball snuffs are out there. I will say I really liked Jacob Toppin's like performance in that first round, especially. I thought that was fine. I thought he could have beat out Jalen no problem. I was surprised to see Jalen make it to the finals, but at the same time, I, his dunks were good and they had meaning. I think that's what the judges cared about. And Max were just kind of sick, if I'm being honest with you. The dunk,
Yeah.
the oop to himself thing was kind of crazy. Do I think he deserved to win? Probably.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, the hate that Jalen's getting is surprising. I think
And
that's
also the
just people love
reason
to hate him.
why we'll never get any other star player to do the dunk contest.
Yeah. Who was the other All Star in that? Please let me know who the All
Yeah.
Star was in that dunk contest. Oh, it was just Jalen, or it
Mhm.
certainly wasn't Mac McClung, who isn't even on an NBA roster.
Yeah.
Like that's what we got to talk about
Yeah.
here.
Jalen max contract. Like he doesn't need
The
to do
highest
this.
contract in NBA history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they're like,
But
yeah, give us the Mac kid, get him,
yeah.
pull him out of his cage, have him do his tricks, and then put him back in, and then
Yeah.
it's brutal, brutal.
It is. So, well, we got to have our guys back. And we do. Yeah. Jalen
Yep.
Brown, thank you for trying to add some legitimacy back to the dunk contest.
Yeah,
Some
somebody had
star
to.
potential, but is what it is. Do you watch any of the celebrity game?
I saw bits and pieces. I didn't see
Yeah.
the whole thing. I
I
couldn't
watched the
bring
whole
myself.
thing. It was
Okay.
fun. Um, yeah, Micah Parsons was a huge ball hog. Kai Cenat was very frustrated with that. Um, which
Oh, I
was
did see those clips.
hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny. That was
That was
funny.
so funny. He's wide open. Micah Parsons just doesn't look his way at all.
Not at all.
Um,
Just tunnel vision,
yeah,
man.
which is hilarious. There was a 4-point line with the Ruffles branding. That was fun.
Oh
The
dear.
court, the LED court, sick. I don't know how it feels to play on it, but it's awesome.
It was sick.
Like,
It was very cool. All the stuff they did during the dunk contest is really what I saw, right? So a
yeah.
lot of the stuff came from the Jalen Brown dunks that I remember, right? Switching
Mhm.
to the parquet, the memorial of the kid who passed away. Thought that was all sick.
Yeah. It's like such a cool idea. Would be interested to see if that's like the future of NBA courts. I don't know, like if players would like that, but it was cool to see. A college will definitely invest tons of
Guaranteed.
money into one, 100%, right? Like that's the kind of gimmick that like colleges love. I feel like.
Can't wait for Purdue or the A&M
Mhm.
Aggies to put something on their court in the next 2 years
Right,
that looks exactly
right.
like that. Yeah,
Like
guaranteed.
like Boise State with their blue field. You know,
Yes. Yeah,
like
exactly. It's they do it for the like accolades, the recognition. So
yeah,
I'm totally on that boat. Some colleges doing that.
yeah.
Guaranteed.
But yeah, so that was entertaining. Stephen A versus Shannon. That's fun as the coaches. But yeah, other than that, not too much to report from Celebrity Game. How'd you feel about the effort and everything that went into the actual All Star game?
Um, I thought All Star Weekend too. You see Ant shooting with his left hand, 3-point contest. Adam Silver probably is trying to put him in a grave now. But I think if you look at the effort, like we alluded to
Yeah,
this
I almost
earlier.
forgot the 3-point contest and the showdown. We should
Yeah,
talk about that first for sure.
sure. That actually that's a good point. The 3-point contest I thought was kind of sick. Actually, it was a three-way tie at one point for like moving on to the finals. Um, kind of rooting for Cat. I find myself usually rooting against Cat, but for some reason, something to do with a big man winning, not back to back necessarily, but just winning the 3-point contest multiple years in a row. Like that's impressive. He is a big man. That's what he is. Um, and it's fun to watch him kind of go out there and just drill some threes with like the likes of those smaller guards like Dame, like Trey. And it's fun. It's fun. So I thought that was probably one of the better products this year. I would say that, and then the Steph versus Sabrina game.
Yeah, super exciting, very fun. Sabrina showed out really hard, and I'll be interested to see. I'm sure they'll continue to do stuff like that.
For sure.
Caitlin Clark, I'm sure at some point will be, invited to participate in a, 3-point contest, which is very fun because, she's unbelievable.
Also
I mean,
elite.
Sabrina's
Yeah.
also unbelievable
Oh
shooter,
yeah.
but yeah, that was fun for sure. And then, yeah, the regular All Star game, not a lot of effort, but a lot of points, which is,
A lot of
fun.
points. So I was kind of rooting for Tyrese, honestly, to win that All-Star Game MVP. Something about me just like hates watching Dame win things. I don't know what it is. It's just, his whole thing was loyalty. That was his
Mhm.
shtick. And then he went to the Bucks, and he's kind of sucked, honestly,
Yeah.
since he's been there. So the All-Star Game was kind of like a Like,
No, lucky for you,
there
it
you go.
hasn't, it hasn't been too much that he's won in his career,
Yeah, and
so
that's a great
hasn't
point.
bothered
And
you
you see
too
all the memes, yeah, of like Dame year 1, Dame year 10, and it's like, that's the same. The beard has grown. That's it, right?
right.
Um, that's and if in a perfect world that continues this year, um, because Doc Rivers sure ain't helping. But I digress. Was really rooting for Tyrese to win that. Um, of course, Dame wins it. I'm just generally annoyed by that. I thought Jalen also had a case, honestly, to win it off the bench. So for all of our Jalen haters, you can suck it. Honestly, Jalen was one of the better players in general on the floor. Um, I liked the. I don't know if you heard the. I think it was Chuck or if it was somebody else, but Cat popped off for a little bit at the end there. And no,
I don't
I'm
know
not
what
saying
where
the
you're
things you
going
think
with
I'm
what,
saying.
Chuck said
No,
this
one
weekend.
thing, and I don't know if it was Chuck, it might have been Kenny, I don't know who it was. They
Mhm.
were all unhinged, but in this case, it was
Yes.
another unhinged comment, slightly less so
Mhm.
than some of the other shit we heard, which was bad.
So what happens is you
Was
make
like,
people spend an extended amount of time in Indiana. Uh,
that is true. I don't blame them, frankly, for
yeah,
saying that's not true. I take that back. For saying the things they said, we kind of got to control that. But I will say, somebody said Cat was at like 45 and they were down 20. The West was, and somebody's like, "This is just like a Timberwolves game from 2 years ago. Like same shit." And I'm
oof,
like, "That was funny because that is
yeah,
very, very true." So, um, just good commentary. Most of the
right,
time, I would say discourse around the actual game itself was pretty quality. I will leave it at that.
yeah,
And if you don't know what I'm
yeah.
talking about,
You can
look up
find
Chuck's
it.
comments on homeless people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, it reminds me of a sketch SNL did a while ago when Chuck was in
It's never
trouble
good.
for something else. And Keenan
Surprise.
was playing him. This is before Shaq retired. I feel like this is like a long time ago. Um, and they were like, Chuck, aren't you worried that you might get fired from your job at TNT? He was like, I'm not, because you know who else works for TNT? No one you ever heard of. And that always plays
You know
in my
what
mind
sucks?
when he just does whatever he wants. He
Does
knows
whatever he wants,
he's never
truly.
getting fired from TNT.
And then you think back to Paul Pierce doing that one weird thing with
Oh,
strippers, and then he was gone immediately. And
yeah,
then
that's
it's just been
ESPN. That's
Chuck.
different.
Exactly. Yeah, they're more
TNT
legit
would
there.
still be on if he was
That
there.
is
He'd
true.
still be there.
I completely agree. I would actually love to see Pierce and Barkley in a room together because I feel like that
Mhm.
would be chaos. But we get a similar vibe
He's got to
from
go on his
KG and Pierce's
podcast with
podcast.
KG. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
that'd be
God.
fun.
Speaking of Chuck,
Mhm.
this is a bad discourse train wreck here now, but the that happened a lot with Chuck, frankly, and that's usually
Mhm.
what it is. So he was on the call with Draymond, and the comment that again has been floating around is
Yeah.
Chuck was like, "Hey, you see who asked about you the other day?" And Draymond's like, "Who?" And he goes, "Nobody," because nobody like that, which is fair. And I
Mhm.
love anybody putting Draymond in his place. So I got a kick out of just watching the clips
Yeah.
after the fact because it really was All Star Weekend for the commentators too.
Yeah.
Truly.
And yeah, a lot of ways for
And
sure.
Draymond didn't deck anybody, so it's a win for the NBA. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
touch that too.
loss for us who talk about
A
the
big
NBA, but
yeah,
a win for the NBA nonetheless. So this is a Celtics show. I guess we should probably talk about the Celtics at some
a little
point
bit.
on it. Tomorrow, at the time of recording, today, at the time when this is uploaded, got a matchup against the Bulls. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a win. I
All
not much of a
right.
matchup
Well,
to be
thanks for
honest.
watching, everybody.
Yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
that's no, I mean the Bulls are an interesting team. They're kind of riddled by injury. They didn't end up trading Zach Levine because he's hurt as heck.
Yeah.
Um, all they really have is kind of Kobe White and an old and only getting older DeMar DeRozan. So
Right.
and Caruso, who they also didn't trade. I don't really know what the Bulls are doing. Kind of feels directionless right now, if I'm being honest.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel about the Bulls. And just like,
yeah,
I don't even know, man.
where are you guys at? Like, are you
Yeah.
building around Kobe? Are you building around Zach Levine, who seems to get hurt at the second half of every year?
Yeah.
What's going on here? So I think the Celtics can actually not play down to their competition. It should be an easy win.
Ooh, yeah.
But
We'll see.
Celtics not playing down
Now
to
that
their
you mention
competition
it,
challenge.
yeah, almost
Yeah, do we want
impossible.
to talk about the Detroit game in December? We don't have to. That's okay. Shit like that happens though,
Yeah.
so we gotta be on our toes, I guess.
Little bit of like when Big Ben was still on the Steelers were like that. They're like against good
Very much
teams,
so.
so good, like can hang, and then against bad teams, so terrible and would hang with bad teams. Like doesn't
Absolutely.
make sense, but
No, it does not. And then the Celtics now have this. I remember at the second half of the year, I think it was in early January, they had the easiest schedule going forward. And I'm looking at this upcoming schedule. It doesn't really
mm,
look easy. I mean, after the Bulls, I see Knicks, Sixers, Mavs, Warriors,
mm.
Cavs, Nuggets, Suns, and that's really it for a little bit. But like, still,
Yeah.
that's a
Then
pretty
after
tough
that,
stretch.
pretty, you know,
Yeah, and then I saw Trailblazers and Jazz, and I was like,
get the
never mind.
Pistons
And then the
twice.
Wizards, Pistons.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, never mind. And then you see Bulls, Hawks. Okay, you know, the more I look at this, the more I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. I think the second half of the season is very easy. I think
yeah,
that's just going to pad us even further at the top of the East.
yeah.
But
Hopefully we
for
get
the
that
next
one
week or
seed.
so,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I mean, if Doc Rivers is still the coach of the Bucks, it looks pretty good. But
yeah.
and the Sixers are
Where's the
without Joel,
Cavs?
looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, true. I think honestly, respect to the Cavs. They are a good team, but they just don't seem to show up when it matters. Their makeup is a little bit strange.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't know. They're focused on the guards. We're focused on the wings, so we typically end up having a size advantage over them.
Right.
KP obviously only adds to that, but I think we match up well against them, frankly. So I'm not too stressed about them.
Yeah. No, I mean it should be fun second half of the season to talk Celtics, and then as we get into the playoffs, so that'll be great. Anything else
Just
that
not
we
play the
wanted
Heat.
to? Yeah. Well, it's gonna happen, Jack. You know it's
It
gonna
is.
happen.
I know. It
It's,
is.
we're gonna be like 20 games over them, and gonna have
And
a
we're gonna go to
7 game
7. We're
series
going
with the
7.
Heat
Yep.
at some point.
I'm betting. If I'm a betting man, that's
Yeah.
where my money's at. So
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a thorn in our side. Very fun, but oh my god. Are they
yeah.
even a thorn in
Oh
our side?
yeah.
They beat us last year and went to the finals. So like, are we
They
a thorn
yeah.
in
Are
their
they better
side?
than
Are we
us?
both thorns? Who knows?
We're mutually supportive thorns here.
Yeah.
Mutually exclusive thorns at each other's sides at all times.
Oh
So
man. Which is fun, in the
yeah,
trash talk, all that. Love it. So we'll see
totally.
what
Totally.
happens. All right, Jack, where can they find you online?
Best place to find me is on Twitter, and that's at Jack_Tiernan. So follow me there for tweeting about NBA, MLB, NFL stuff. All that jazz is on there. You can also follow my disc golf page. That's at Jack Disc Golf on Instagram. Post some disc golf content. We're talking about a collab later with some wicked good sports stuff coming up later this year. And I just placed second in a pretty big ass tournament, not gonna lie. So it's been a good couple run for me. But yeah, follow me those places for more content.
Yes, please do. You can follow me on Twitter at the Fifty Mar, SPMARR. If you need me, I'll probably be playing Helldivers. I love it. It's so good. I just did a video on it on the main channel where you get everything. Please go check it out. Always tough to get views. Well, just always tough to get views. Period. But always tough to get any kind of views on the main channel when it's so few videos. It's like a big swing, and then it's like I really hope that this hits, so please help me there. Other than that, channel is on Twitter at Wicked Good Sport, and then it's also on TikTok. Search Wicked Good Sports. And yeah, thank you so much for your time, Jack,
Of course, Brian. Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you all in the next one.